brochure, do you want to start by asking us questions,
Yes.
Madeline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
My first question, based on our first conversations, is whether you want to basically, are you happy with the design as is and simply want to change the content, or do you
I
want to
think
the direction?
I think we're happy with the design. I like it. I think it's appealing. The color stands out, and it's very like clear, I guess, when you see it, and that's really what we like. Yeah, I
Good.
think the design is good.
Yeah, so you know that Susan sent me some notes on the brochure and she crossed
Yep.
out the stuff, and I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, you have it too, and so do I.
Hmm.
So we can, I mean, we can go, I'm not sure what the most productive use of our time is. We can go by phone, and you can just talk me through the things that you want to say. Susan did send me your capital budget requests and all kinds of interesting,
Mm,
it's full of,
yeah.
but there's, I read through all of it. And, but I think it's just simpler for, you know, for these little copy blocks to be rewritten for you to talk me through your main concerns and issues. So if, I mean, we can go point by point, start
Mhm.
perhaps with that inside part where it says talk to us at the top and we're listening at the bottom.
Hmm.
Have those big copy blocks, because there's a bunch of stuff crossed out there. So do you want to just tell me what
Okay.
you want there?
Well, for the dorms and high rises, that's
Yeah.
really outdated.
Okay. And you wrote the word
Yeah,
drugs.
I was suggesting that we put in a huge complaint is public drug use.
Ah,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was suggesting that one of the things we talk about or a blurb is, you know, about this drug use.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's in a lot of our parks. We've actually had more than one shooting because of drug turf wars, which I wouldn't go into.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, if we could say something about the number of people on the street.
You have people in the waiting room.
Oh, I do? Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Whoa. It's a crowd.
Yeah, on the drugs, I was curious, so I pulled like 311 complaints for the area, and it's not the top thing that 311 complaints come in for, but it is actually quite like there are quite a few complaints about it, and they're not all in the same area. They're kind of scattered throughout the area. There are definitely hotspots, but when I was looking at the 311 data, it is kind of yeah, there's plenty of places you can see it.
Marijuana, hard drugs.
It's drugs. It's not
I
marijuana.
don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Marijuana is legal, but it still annoys people.
No, it's not a marijuana at all.
It's
It's
yeah.
hard drugs, and you can't just go by 311 because if people generally for drugs, we tell people call 911.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true too. Exactly. Yeah, 311 won't contain the really serious. Yeah.
You know, what would your message be about what you as a community board can do to address the situation, or what you are doing?
Do you have an idea on
You
that?
have a sentence, a couple of talking points.
I mean,
I think the whole point of the brochure is to say, here's your problem. This is what we as a community board can do to intervene, to help, to,
yeah.
you know, and if you
Yeah.
can't do that, then it may not belong here.
Maybe it's something like the city needs to help us or help people. You know, I'm trying to think. City needs services to help people who are suffering from drugs. This just broad concept.
Yeah.
And so they shouldn't be somehow, you know, that they shouldn't have to live in our parks and on our streets.
Yeah.
Mhm. But do you have, as a community board, have a role in any of that?
Our role is working with the agencies to let them know where there are problems and to
That's
try
good.
and get them to do something.
And I would say from my
Yeah.
experience with the board, it's also to be like a humanizing voice.
Mm.
Mm, mhm.
Many of the complaints are just they're acting like these people are not people, and so.
Yeah,
That's a consistent voice that the health committee and the district
oh,
office.
you have a health
put through.
committee,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, but
Yes.
the drug problems don't go to committee, so they
No,
go to
no,
they
but-
just go to the office as
But
a
providing
constituent
services
complaint.
is a consistent.
Yes, the community board has, as you will see in
Yeah.
priorities, so the community board advocates for services to help
Mhm.
people
That's
who are
good.
suffering from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay.
And directs the agency responses, where.
Only where needed.
Yeah.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
we can workshop the language more, because I think there's certain, I guess, keywords we would want to use there to
I mean,
to
if I
really-
need help, or if you have other things to send me, is I'll go away and I'll try to draft copy blocks that fit the layout and
Mhm.
send it back to you so you can, and we can have a little back and forth
Beautiful.
once. Because it sounds like what we're gonna be doing is using the same basic design and simply
Mhm.
in new content. And that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
Yep.
small businesses, well, Laura works with our small businesses, so she might have another idea.
Yeah.
I thought what we had was
I
actually
think
good.
it's very good.
Yeah.
And I,
Okay.
Dad, how old is this brochure?
12 years old.
12 years.
12
Things haven't changed.
And I'm concerned is gonna change is that, with what everything that's going on, I wonder how many businesses are gonna start to.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
It's-
we're all
it's
worried
been
about that.
The
All
constant.
right, well, we say they're struggling to survive. I guess they'll be
That's fair.
still struggling.
Still true.
There was something in this document you sent me, which alludes to the fact that there's a lot of competition from chains and so on. Now,
Is that-
is this
oh,
your
yeah.
expense priorities? And for some reason, I thought that was the most comprehensive.
Yeah, I think actually there's less and less chains. They're closing. They're actually
No.
closing.
Oh, that's
They're,
interesting.
they're closing because of retail theft.
So we can
Mm,
leave this as is?
I think so.
I
Okay,
think so.
all right. Okay,
Yeah.
you crossed out youth struggles with violence and blah, blah, blah.
It's
blah.
not an issue
Yeah,
anymore.
Good.
We used to actually have like town workshops and have, with the kids from different areas, and it's just not an issue anymore.
Yeah, so you wanted to replace that with deliveries and loading zones, and that's that whole
That's-
issue
yeah.
of massive trucks and bicycle deliveries, both?
Yes,
Deliveries?
so we're working to create places for storage of delivery vehicles,
mhm.
and to advocate for loading zones.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
I just want to compliment you about the Joko areas. They are tight. Those guys are lined up like they're in
Yeah.
the army.
what is that?
A company that actually works, one company
Oh.
that works with deliveries does and provide bikes and helmets and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I think I've seen them. I
It was
just,
the blocks that I live on one of the blocks, they were complete chaos at first, but they are really,
Mm,
they've really tightened
Yeah.
up their act. So the precinct.
So something, something with micro hubs,
yeah.
delivery.
what is
a
micro?
micro hub. Can you describe it, Michael, Larry, or should I be sending her stuff? I in literature on micro hubs. And so on.
because I think the city has their own very specific way they want to talk about it. Yeah, I don't want to contradict what the city, because they've put out a whole information thing about the local law.
for a Department of Transportation.
Uh-huh, okay, all right.
And then neighborhood loading zones. They.
Yeah.
The program.
That's
neighborhood
separate from
loading
the
zone.
micro hubs?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
separate, okay.
So where I said need loading zones, the neighborhood loading zones are actually one of,
One of
just
them.
one of the loading
Yeah,
zone, ones
uh-huh.
that kind.
And the loading zones are for the big trucks? For the big-
No, they're just
No,
for
what-
anything.
It's like anything from
Yeah.
I'm unloading my car
Uh-huh,
to I'm
yeah.
moving to.
Yeah. For businesses,
And
for
it's like a.
Amazon.
It's a
Okay,
daytime.
so just to go back to my initial question, do you want to keep this sort of question and answer? I mean, essentially, we use this format. You talk to us and we have a quote from
Mm,
probably a neighborhood person saying, so what are the issues? So what would that look like? Would it be,
so
delivery
the
and trucks are clogging up my street and I can't cross the street?
Yeah, I mean, I have like personal experience with this too, Laura. I'm sure you do too. But like, you know, in my neighborhood, there are certain blocks and stretches where it's kind of chaotic. There's like lots of like micro vans and bikes and people loading and unloading it.
Yeah,
And even on a basic level, there's like lots of people standing around because they're all involved in logistics, and it's just very disorganized. Without,
I don't want to be negative about
Right.
them. I want to be negative about we
yeah,
improve
Yeah,
the
yeah.
situation
So-
because
the organizing. Yeah, it's about organizing it.
let's present
Yeah.
the problem essentially, and then.
But I think the problem is the city needs to provide a way, the city needs to provide infrastructure to accommodate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah, yeah,
and then CB3's role is we basically can point out specifically where we think it would make a lot of sense. Like, oh, this block, this corner, that's a good spot to designate as a loading area or a micro hub.
uh-huh.
And we bring together people like the police and the DOT and the neighbors to find a way to accommodate.
Yeah,
When you
Yeah.
get where is the problem area, you figure it
Yeah.
out. And they like, this is even just with working with the management and with the messengers who are there every day, they've been effective, even without infrastructure going
uh-huh.
in.
And does
Yeah,
the
but
community
we-
board do that or?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, the
oh,
community board
oh,
with the police,
Uh-huh.
police.
Okay, so, you know, a positive way to spin this could be, you know, the man on the street who's saying what the problem is could say, we love we love getting our food delivered or getting our deliveries.
Yeah,
We wish there was a way to do it that didn't disrupt traffic or pedestrian flow, something like that.
The city needs to
Yeah, yeah.
evolve
Uh-huh.
to catch
Yeah.
up to the way
Right.
the way
Yeah.
we have deliveries today.
Uh-huh,
Exactly.
yeah,
yeah, I like it.
yeah. Okay, good. The next thing you said was that noise and congestion from idling buses is no longer an issue. You want to talk here about services for the homeless and mental illness.
Right, which particularly advocating for supportive housing and
Mhm.
services
Mhm.
for the people in our community
Yeah,
who need help with
yeah,
behavioral health and homelessness.
yeah, right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
affordable housing and supportive housing is a form of affordable housing is the number one priority in our board. So we could even say something about that.
Affordable
That's
housing
a good
number one.
idea.
priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's good. Uh-huh. But, and I like, is it Laura?
Yes.
Yeah, I like what Laura said about humanizing the problem. So the question or the quote should be something like, you know, we're such a wealthy city, or we're such a, we're such a caring city, we shouldn't see people home, unhoused people
Mhm.
on the street or something like that. I
Yeah.
wish
Mhm.
we saw fewer unhoused people on the street and in safe accommodations.
Right.
Uh-huh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see, what else? Oh, yes, the next one too. So many children using PS 188.
So-
That's pretty specific.
Well, we got them a new playground.
So,
So what I thought a big issue is parks, because parks has been so underfunded. So,
this would be parks.
and I think everybody cares about parks.
Mhm.
And in parks, we need staff, for the playgrounds in the summer. When the kids are on vacation, that's a big item and it's one of our priorities.
Mhm.
We need gardeners. People are specific about,
Mhm.
we need gardeners,
Mhm.
we need maintenance, we need park enforcement, to keep our parks clean, to keep them safe.
Yeah,
To
People
keep,
smoke, if they're not there saying don't smoke, they'll just smoke cigarettes. and
but maybe,
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that you were you had success with this one school, the school playground. I mean, so again.
well, it was previous.
Yeah.
CB3 has successfully made the upgrading of
But
Capitol
I think
Fire.
we want-
Oh.
So maybe we want to talk about what the community board is doing proactively to work with
Um,
the city to provide some
so-
of these services?
Community Board 3 works closely
Mhm,
with the Parks Department
mhm,
to plan the most important services or to meet the most important needs of our community,
mhm,
which are playgrounds, which are toilets.
mhm.
That's a big one. That's a very big one.
Okay, it's
Um,
always big.
To keep them clean and safe. And to have staff to keep the playgrounds clean and safe, staffed up, clean and safe, I would say, because they have
Mhm.
clean too.
Mhm.
So how does that sound, Larry?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it does describe it pretty well.
Feel parks is like mom and pop. You know, like apple pie. So,
Yeah,
Hard because the city doesn't fund them properly.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're constantly.
yeah. Do you
Pushing.
organize any
There's
volunteers?
a,
we do not.
Volunteer gardening?
no,
We
there's a
don't.
great group in the
There's a
park
group.
that does this,
Yeah.
but it is,
Yeah, but that's not part
but
of
that's
this.
not
right?
part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how many parks and playgrounds are we talking about?
We could figure that out, but we have a lot. We
Yeah,
actually
there's
have
a
a
lot.
lot.
And they are well.
Yeah, we have a real
well
lot.
used.
All those funky little private gardens. and-
So they
Are
belong to parks.
They're more part of your district.
They're
in your
part- they're
East-
public.
Are they East Seventh Street or something like
Those
that?
are-
They're all
there's
over.
52 of them.
They're-
I'm
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
organization,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
umbrella,
Yeah,
yeah.
So the gardens are part of Parks Department.
yeah.
They're
Yeah, I
called
know.
Green Thumb, yeah.
So the parks that you're concerned about are which ones?
I would say, well, we have lots and we have lots of them, a lot of playgrounds.
Hmm,
And so one of the big issues in the summer is having, I forget what they call them, I can find the name, it's in our priorities, but youth counselors. What?
Yes,
Oh, I
usually.
see.
It's-
Uh-huh.
No, it's youth,
Different, youth
it's actually park staff for playgrounds that will, they'll have programming for kids, that sort of
That's
thing.
great.
And we don't have enough for all of our, they can only be at parks with playgrounds with bathrooms. But we don't have enough for all of them.
Oh, I see. So that that prevents some of the kids from using the playground.
Yeah, not all our kids could go away to camp. We
Yeah.
need the playgrounds in our parks staffed.
Uh-huh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so staff is a big.
Yeah,
And I think the next block is the bars.
I think it stays exactly.
It's the noise complaints, yeah. That's ubiquitous. That's in 301, far and away the number one category.
Okay. So,
I think we just did the hardest part of
Yeah.
the change.
the meat,
That's great.
the meat. Now, this orange page here,
Mhm.
are there any changes you want to see that use our website, contact our office, attend?
Oh, yeah. okay.
Is the email address has to be revised, but I think
Yeah.
other than that,
Do that, yeah.
How do you guys feel about file a complaint? I like
About what?
file a complaint. I like,
Oh.
I personally, in my language, say, make a service request.
Um,
Make it.
mm,
Everybody knows.
Whatever.
But no, this is for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is to file a complaint at the community board.
So to me, that just as someone reading it, that's a little unclear, so.
Maybe file a complaint on our
the
website and then
yeah.
have. And then
Yeah,
have the link.
exactly.
Is this, well, it's under the heading, use our website.
Right.
To file a complaint.
So at least have the link.
Have the
Yeah.
link.
Okay,
The block party we need to get rid of. We don't do any of that on our website anymore.
Okay.
okay, all right, okay.
So we'll have to figure out what to
So is
put
this-
there.
Is this section, use our website directed primarily at businesses or at individuals?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Find our meetings,
So I'm just wondering about, you can handle a lot of your business right from our homepage. I mean, that just does have a weird, it just, that phrase just doesn't seem like the best phrase.
Is this still your web address?
No.
cb3manhattan.org? No, what is it?
it resolves.
Pardon?
If you type in cb3manhattan.org, you do get directed automatically to our
Yeah.
site.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
So we should
But
keep it,
I don't think
or
we should-
isn't there a
Yeah.
new one?
Not use the new one?
Oh,
Do we
yeah,
have a
should
new- what
definitely
is our
use
new
the
one?
If you have one.
I don't even know. I have to look at my, I never look.
You don't, yeah, right, of course, you don't need the address to your own home, you know.
It's nyc.gov/SITE.
No, we
No.
never, that's
Alright.
not what's on my card.
Well,
Okay,
this is a
that's
minor
hard.
point, we can figure that.
Yeah, you can send the detail. Mhm.
Apply to be considered for CB3 membership, and what does
No.
that, what does that mean?
That needs to get appointed to the board.
Oh, I see,
So the website is the same, it's exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
So that's only like 2 months a year, and it's actually from the borough president, so I would replace that.
they don't, all right. This is being used.
How about something like, find what meeting, find our meetings,
Calendar. Yeah.
find our meeting calendar. What do you think about that?
I
Because
think
we
that's.
want to drive people to
Okay,
come
well,
to
down-
committee
Yeah,
meetings.
down here we have a section
Oh.
called attend meetings. So should it go there?
Wait.
Is it the last?
That's still true, actually, you're
Yeah.
right. So it says
we
attend
can put-
meetings.
And again, we give the web address there.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to put it up here.
Okay, so other than file a complaint,
I mean, couldn't hurt to put it twice, see our meeting calendar, I don't know. I don't feel like most people know
Mm.
how to do this. I'm up forever sending people
yeah,
these links. Just trying to see,
Liquor license regulations.
We have a lot of documents on the CB3 website that relate to all
Yeah,
kinds of things,
Yeah.
like city of yes, small business stuff. So it could just be like, yeah, I'm trying to think of a catch-all term, but like city information resources. That's really bland. I wish I could come up with a better term.
accurate
it
really
could-
than just liquor license regs.
yeah, we also have, we have a lot of demographics of our community board. We're having that update
Mm.
right now.
Mhm,
And
mhm, mhm.
I think that's actually really interesting. You know, we have
Yeah,
maps that show, what's the ages and people living in poverty and, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
yeah, that's kind of, it's, may I say, a little nerdy. I mean, how many
Okay.
people? Well, so
I
this
can't
makes me-
understand why not everyone gets fascinated.
I think it's good. Yeah.
But this gets me back to
Okay.
my first question when Susan first reached out to me, which is how do you really use this? Who gets it?
Okay, so when we go to meetings, which
Yeah.
could be, I go, if we go to a police precinct, community council meeting,
Mhm.
these are people that may not know the community board, so we put those there. When we have tables at street fairs,
Yeah,
there's just basically, thank you. See you again.
bye.
Okay, bye-bye. No, she's absolutely adorable. I want to steal her. Everywhere it's
Yeah,
public people in Community Board 3 who really don't know about how to use a community board.
yeah,
So that's who this brochure is aimed at.
yeah. Do you think the website is the most useful tool for the community or, I mean, maybe.
We have a very diverse community.
Yeah,
Right.
So there are a lot of people that do use the website and a lot of people that would have no idea that our website has information.
and some
They'll
of,
just call the office.
yeah.
How about something about budget? Tell us how you think the city should be spending
Mm,
money in our community. How about that?
mhm, mhm.
But where would that go?
Under,
Priorities.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, we could redo this. I mean, right now we have these three chunks. We have use our website, contact our office. And you don't even give a phone number here. Maybe you don't want them to phone you. I don't
We
know.
give an
Well,
email.
Yeah, we give an
Yeah.
email or attend.
Which has to be
So those are the
updated.
three chunks. So maybe you want to rethink.
Instead
These
of,
these calls to action. I mean, here you're telling us how you help people.
How about
solve their
follow us
problems.
on social media? Like how
Yeah.
do we?
Well,
do
that's
that?
another thing. Yeah, we haven't really.
we don't spend a lot of, we don't put a lot of effort into
Yeah,
those.
but I guess my meta question is this panel, the orange panel that now has these three headings, use our website, contact our office, attend meetings. Is there a different way you'd like to use that?
I'm gonna suggest, based on what we're talking about now, that we change the title instead of use our website.
Hmm.
You can say, use our website dash file a complaint and give the link. And then the other things could be different things like, you know, tell us how you think city should be spending money in our district. Tell us,
But that's the only opportunity to do that is at a meeting, right? Like you don't really have a way to say.
well, people, yeah, but
It's a good, I like the idea. I'm just thinking about the mechanics of it. I think
people
it's a
should
good
come to
thing
meetings.
suggest.
People should come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We always have, first of all, our annual budget meeting is always hybrid.
Well, this, this panel, essentially, if you think in meta terms about what this panel is about, it's about getting involved. It's
yeah,
how they can get
Yeah.
involved, how they can get involved and get information,
So for me, for
basically.
the 10 meetings, it says we hold monthly meetings in various locations. It doesn't really explain that like there's a
Mm.
here are the committee meetings that are, I mean, maybe you don't need to spell it all out, but we hold. Meetings on topics from
Yeah.
liquor licenses to landmarks or
Yeah.
whatever you wanna
Uh-huh.
say, like, just make it more clear and visit the. Check the calendar on our website each month and attend when you see an item that interests you,
I
like.
see.
Even
Uh-huh.
just to get people to read the agenda
Yeah.
and come.
mhm.
It doesn't
See
really, it doesn't
It
really
doesn't
say
tell you.
Yeah,
everyone is
So
welcome.
I think
Is
that's a great idea, and I would maybe look at an example like, come to a meeting and tell us, something about the new restaurant opening on your block. Come to a meeting and tell us, how the new playground should be designed, something
Mm.
specific like that. Come to a meeting and tell us about, traffic,
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm. So you're kind of reinforcing some of what's on these panels.
And
Um,
encouraging people to read the agenda so they know what, like.
Yeah.
People just get used to checking the agenda
hmm,
once a month and seeing if there's anything that's of interest to them.
hmm,
Like
mhm.
that to me is the biggest thing I tell residents, like, don't rely on me. To say, oh, so-and-so is gonna wanna speak to this, like, you guys look. And check what is of interest to you.
So perhaps this section on me, because it sounds like you really want people to attend meetings.
We do.
You want people to attend.
Yes,
And so those are some good, so maybe there we do some bullet points that actually say, check the agenda on our website.
And give specific
Bring
examples.
us your issues.
Look,
tell them
what was the design of this
Park
playground?
redesign,
Design, because we're spending like 2 months talking about, one little patch of, used to be a sandbox in a park. It's like people get into this stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure, when it's right in their block or whatever, yeah. Okay, add bullet points. Okay,
Licenses, frozen
Well-
zones,
Mhm.
yeah.
so I mean, I might like to see an overall header on this panel, because basically what we're talking about is be informed, get involved, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Some
Yeah.
kind of call to action there. Yeah, like get involved where, and then below it, you can give examples.
Yeah,
And
and
then
the other
get
thing is,
involved.
what has changed in the last couple of months is that this all has gone out for more community, like,
Yeah,
the only
Yeah,
of your problems.
my silver
are
lining is
your-
I have
is
more
your-
volunteers that I
your-
can handle
Good.
all of the
Oh,
stuff.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Well, then, so people want to get involved, people want to find community, they want to meet their neighbors, so,
I would say community board is the way for the community, to plan for their community, to make decisions for their community. That is the way you do it,
Mhm.
in a sexier way, a sexier tech wording.
yeah. Mhm.
But the community board is how you help plan for your community.
Yeah. Make your community better. Better.
Yeah, make your community better, so it's great.
Yeah, a better place to live. It's possible, okay. All right, so I think that's gonna look different, and I have to go back and talk to Casey, who's my design partner, and we should come back to you with some ideas for that.
So,
I
yeah,
mean, we want the website there because part of where you get information is there, and then where you get involved is at the meetings and by contacting the
Definitely.
office. So we've got the general idea. Now, this part,
and the calendar, like the calendar is what
Yeah,
you see on the landing
Okay.
page, so that's the easiest thing, is like, just check.
calendar, check calendar, issue. Okay. What does CB3 do?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
said
so
they
it doesn't sound real exciting.
Represent you and your neighborhood to city government. Yeah,
I would say instead of CB3 represents you, CB3 is the place for you to work with your government. Or something like that, something more direct.
so, I mean, do we want to use the words or the idea of grassroots? I mean, this is really grassroots. I mean, basically, you are the community, represent the residents of the community.
I don't think this is local government.
It's local government.
It's hyper local government. It isn't really grassroots because that's
Yeah.
organizing.
Yeah.
It's local government and it is, I mean, it is actually the means for people to participate in decision making for their community.
And my example would be like. I could call a city agency 100 million times about something, but if Susan calls a city agency.
Yeah.
She's gonna get
Uh-huh,
someone who knows her
yeah,
and knows that what she's calling about is legit and get
yeah,
an answer.
you're
So
connected.
it's like an insider.
We're an agency. we're not grassroots. We're a government
Yeah, they're a
agency.
government agency,
Mm.
but it's a hyper local
So
government
where
agency.
your government
first
doesn't-
stop,
yeah.
it's like your first
Yeah.
stop,
And the agencies come to our committees.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the involved in decision making. When Parks is going to redesign a playground, they come to the Parks Committee and say, here's the design. What do you think of it?
Hmm,
So it literally is the place to have input into, to how, what you want in your community.
yeah,
How do you want the money spent? Where do you want it spent? What do you want it to look like?
The community
Mhm.
board interfaces with all government agencies,
mm-hmm,
and that's, I think, what people don't understand.
yeah,
I don't get that.
And they probably, from what you're saying, they probably don't get that they can come to the transportation committee and talk to the Department of Transportation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, they think that they're talking to this. Like just random group of people. It's.
Mm.
And that the difference between, maybe do we say that, the difference between the district office. And the board itself, right? That the board is a
I-
volunteer groups in the
It
district.
is not a volunteer group.
But, right.
It's appointed
Appointed.
part-time civil
Yeah,
service.
yeah, but they're not paid. I don't think people realize that.
well,
Oh, I think
are you a civil servant?
I'm paid.
You're
I'm paid.
paid.
I'm a New York City
But the
employee.
volunteer.
They're not
members of the board-
volunteers, though.
Because they're
they're not.
appointed.
They're not-
You can't say
I
I'd
see.
like to
Oh.
do this and get on.
Oh, how do you get appointed?
You have to apply
Uh-huh,
and it's a very competitive
what
process.
do they call it? Community board members.
Yeah.
Community board members.
Yeah, but they, in the charter, the city charter says they're part-time civil servants.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm going to volunteer to do this. It's
Yeah.
I want to apply to be appointed to become this. And you have to follow public, this is all just in context, you have to follow public officer law, you have to follow conflict of interest law, there's
Yeah,
things that you have to do. It's
Yeah.
not clean up your park day.
No, I'm just saying the brochure itself doesn't it all distinguish, it's like contact our office means.
I
It's the
think that's
district
getting,
office. You don't-
yeah,
you
I don't,
see
I
the
think
difference.
no, I do see the
Okay.
difference, but I think that's getting
Too
too
much.
much for a little brochure.
Yeah.
I don't think that's particularly important to the public.
I just think if you said contact the district.
Well, if we want to keep the design the same.
Yeah,
Then, then we have to work with this and figure out what these panels can do. I mean, how much we want to, because I'm now on the panel that says, what does CV3 do? Who is CV?
Well, maybe we should put in something
But it
about,
sounds like you want some refinement of the language that,
how
or-
about for what CB3
That's what-
do? How about, we have committees that work on parks. We have committees that work on transportation. We have committees that do this. How about something about, what the committees do?
that's what I think. I mean, this is here, who is CB3 explains what I was just talking about, which is
yeah,
good.
we're in neighbors. Mhm.
Yeah.
Unpaid
so
members,
that's
you
good.
see that, I guess that's what, when you say unpaid members, I think, oh, they're volunteers, but it's a little bit.
It's a
there's
competitive-
refinement there.
It's a competitive process to be
It
appointed.
explains it very clearly and simply, so that's good.
You think it's okay?
I do, I think this is good. I
Okay,
think the place you were saying what the different committees do were under bullet points under attend meetings.
Or what about,
Right.
what does CB3 do?
Yeah,
A
where-
large part of what CB3 does is committee work.
Yes, and that's lacking. Yeah.
So I think under what does CB3 do, I think we could give examples of committees
okay,
and what they do.
okay,
And then maybe also say, the community board office can help you with your problems.
yeah.
Yes,
Well, why don't you, so, there are two things going on here. One is that, do you think of this as a recruitment tool at all? Do you want new members? You
We
don't-
have way,
Too many.
way too
More
many people.
interest.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right,
it's the
There's-
public that we want to engage more, I think.
yeah,
There's only 50 members
Yeah.
allowed, and you could have a couple hundred people apply.
yeah,
So we're not trying to recruit it.
yes, well, I think it might be a good, I didn't know that, and I think unpaid members to me, smacks of volunteerism, so maybe you want to. Just refine it by saying, has 50 members who are appointed by a competitive process or something like that, to indicate that it is selective or something have, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I would just say who are appointed.
Or
it said.
It says half are appointed by city
Yeah.
council and half,
It does.
Yeah, that's cut and dry and good, but I think the idea of adding committee work in here is what I'm saying, when the
Yeah.
difference between what you do every day and what happens.
yeah, so you could
in
say,
committee is.
what does community, the committee, we have committees, we have a transportation
Yeah.
committee, we have a state liquor license committee. So I think, Larry, don't you think putting stuff about committees would be helpful?
yeah, because that's where the real meat of things
Yeah.
that get decided comes from.
That's where all the policies decided and
Is
that,
that described on the website, the different
It's in
committees?
the.
the calendar,
It's on the calendar,
yeah,
okay. I'll
with
look at
this
it.
very specific agenda for everybody.
Right, I'll look at that.
So, yeah, if you go on our homepage, and it's also, it's where policy and positions are taken. It's also how you participate with the board.
Yeah, because people wait and come to the monthly meeting, the work theoretically should be done. And that's not really the time. To show
Yeah,
up
the work of the board is done
in-
at committees.
committee, and that would be a really good sentence to put in there.
Oh, yeah, that makes it very clear.
So work of the board is done by committee, and you are invited to.
Come to the
participate.
committees,
Mhm.
come to the
Yeah.
committees. Now, this is your board for you to come to.
Yeah. Invited to have your say. You were invited to
Yeah.
participate by attending meetings.
Or we need you
Yeah.
need you to come in.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Mhm.
How do we feel about gotta beef?
But what?
Got a beef.
Gotta beef.
Gotta beef.
Where is that?
Here, yeah, I'm not
It's
crazy.
the center
Yeah.
column.
I do like complain productively. That's one of my
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Where
good.
From, and I was actually looking at that on the way down, and I was thinking, what is?
Complain
I don't want
productively is
people just
for me.
whining.
Yes,
Yeah,
productively, get your problem solved.
yeah, maybe you just,
Yeah, I
Maybe
understand that,
the
but you know,
question.
I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I just thought complain productively, that feels a little infra-dig, it sounds like something that's, I mean, I know what you mean, yeah, because there's nothing worse than attending one of those meetings with your neighbors where everyone wants to just complain and not really.
Or people complain to each other, like,
Yeah.
say you have a noisy bar, instead of saying, calling 311 or calling the community board, you just complain to your neighbor. You know, how does that help?
this could be a good place to say, make your community better. Like we were saying before, make your community better, complain productively.
This is the,
So,
this is the.
I
back
think that
version, it's,
make your community better is what you do at the committees and as,
Right.
because that's policy and position
So
and
this is just
spending
directing
money.
you to the office.
Yeah,
basically.
this is,
Oh.
this one, so
Mhm.
it's about
Yeah.
committees and then
Okay.
how, you know, you ever have a problem, you know,
Have a
contact,
problem, complain productively, right?
yeah, contact the community board office.
well,
To,
this is just a little rubric, you know, but I think the calls to action, and this just
Okay.
reinforces that, so should we leave it the way it is?
But not the gotta be.
Gotta be, you don't like gotta be.
It's gotta-
And I
it's
don't like
very
complain,
tenuous.
and I don't complain.
I think have a problem.
Yeah.
CB3
we
is
we
here to
can help you, we can have, yeah, we're here to help, or
Mhm.
we can help you resolve your problem, you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so we like CB3 is here to help.
Yeah.
I do like that. I think that's,
Positive.
I won't hold on to complain productively, even though it's what I believe.
oh, I know, and I do too, but for some reason it sounds a little preachy. It
Well,
sounds
then,
like, don't
Okay,
you dare just come and complain. You have to complain. I don't know. Okay, any factual things on this page? Well.
The population number, but that's just easy to look up. We can just update that. I'm pretty sure that number is slightly wrong.
which one number?
172,000, the population.
Yes,
I
I've actually gone
Yeah.
down and I'll look in the latest Furman report.
Yeah,
Either
yeah,
way,
that's an easy
or what's-
check. Yeah. Yeah, that's on the website, but that
And
just needs to be updated.
The info, email has changed all.
Yeah, that has to be changed. Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna give you, oh, it's not on here, is it? No. So this should be info.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not info. This should be MN03.
oh, is that this? And then 03 at cv.nyc.
Yeah, she annotated it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
already put that in,
Okay.
yeah, okay. All right. And then, the website address may have changed. Oh,
I
can
think
see
the
that.
thing
No, the
is,
website address.
it did, but it redirects, so.
Oh,
it
yeah.
moves.
Yeah, it redirects.
This is what we
Redirects
put on our
is
cards.
Very less than intuitive,
Yeah.
so we don't need that. We're
Yeah.
better off.
Yeah.
My takeaway is this, I'm gonna go away. And because what I think this is going to. All right, so I'm gonna, so Larry can see. So
Mhm.
the talk to us, we're listening panels, those two panels will be replacing content there as we.
Yep.
But the basic layout is going to stay the same. That orange panel is going to change quite a bit. I think we wanted what we want to convey there is get information, get involved, or something like that. You know, that'll be our header, and then I'd like to think a little bit about how to organize it and get back to you with some.
And then the bubbles.
Yeah.
Get rid of idling buses.
What? Oh, yeah, the buses, yeah.
The bubbles.
We were gonna replace zoning, replace parks and playgrounds, replace with rats. We didn't talk about.
Oh, we should have something about rats
In
because,
In here,
well, we're the third highest.
I know.
We're the top 3 community boards, of the 59 in the city
know.
with
I
rat
saw it.
problems.
Rats and trash, definitely.
So there are a lot of complaints about rats. So I don't know, whereas maybe it's like, too many rats. I don't
I
know.
mean,
I
Hey,
believe that every one of these bubbles is addressed inside.
right.
So do
So
you
we
wanna
have
have
to
a whole
reverse
chunk
that.
about rats? We didn't.
Maybe
We
not.
should
They may
talk
not
about
be
rats and
ruined.
trash. We should.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we
mhm.
can't talk about something else.
Something.
Then we need to get rid of
So we
something.
need to get rid of
I
something.
wonder if you can.
So we, right now, we have public drug use. We have, I mean, you know.
Maybe services for homeless and mentally ill. You want to get rid of that? Is that less sexy?
No.
No? Okay.
Or we fold that together with the drug use thing, because I think a lot of times substance abuse issues are related to some of the like the services. There's an overlap there, so we can fold those together.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then do something about
And then do.
And then do rats.
rats and trash,
Okay.
which do go
They're
together,
related.
which do go together.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
also
so
go together with outdoor dining, but you won't say that.
rats and trash, okay. And here, homeless, add drug use here. Mhm.
Yeah, combine
Fold them
that.
in,
It's,
yeah.
you know, substance abuse and
Yeah.
behavioral health.
That's a lot to cover in one little two
But it's-
sentences.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
still like just connecting with services in
Yeah,
both cases.
that's right.
That's a
Right,
good way. That's a
yeah,
very good
yeah,
way to put it.
Exactly, okay. Okay, so this is gonna be rats and trash.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is
actually that-
interesting, though, you know, right now, there are a lot of, I mean, the containerization, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how relevant, maybe it'll get better.
I think that is something that, you know, an everyday problem people do care about.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, so we'll add that and we'll put that in one of the bubbles on the front. Mhm. Bubbles, right. Parks and playgrounds, rats. Parks,
That's, yeah.
housing.
So
So we're
some are
replacing
Chinese.
idling buses
Bad.
with,
I think, let me make sure she gave you.
Yeah, there's Chinese.
But make sure there's Spanish.
Yeah,
too.
there is.
Okay.
yeah, do you have copies of this in other languages that I could see?
Sure.
Okay. Zoning, replace zoning with,
I think it's. That,
The delivery trucks and delivery zones.
yeah, deliveries. Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. Affordable housing stays, I guess.
affordable housing definitely stays. It's
Okay.
one of the board's biggest priorities. Help for small businesses and noisy bars. Those three are good.
But we
Yeah.
didn't really address housing here.
We
Yeah.
don't, but it is, except,
Mm.
we say supportive housing.
Oh, for people with
Yeah,
mental
and I-
illness or,
I mean, my feeling is it is a priority of the board.
yeah.
It is, yeah.
But we don't really address it in the talk to us, we're listening panels. We don't talk about it at
It's
all.
just hard for.
It's hard, yeah.
It's
for
hard,
you
it's
as a
hard to
community board.
actually, it happens at land use, it happens. It does happen, but it's hard to say that like. An individual seeking affordable housing is not
Yeah,
to the community board,
no,
you
no,
know,
of
that's,
course not.
yeah.
Yeah. But do you have any would you say you have influence on,
They
What kinds of housing?
regularly push applicants to provide more truly affordable housing when zoning proposals come before the
let's
board.
see. Oh, boy, look at this, this is.
So
this is-
Chinese takes up less room and Spanish
Yeah,
takes up
Spanish
more
takes up
room.
more now. All
We
right,
were
then.
just talking about these things, that affordable housing, noisy bars and help for small.
Yeah, so
businesses stay.
some of those have to be.
Affordable
replaced.
housing.
These three should
So-
stay.
So we're gonna replace one of
Well,
these.
I don't know that we need more parks and playgrounds.
No, we want staff, right? That's
Yeah.
staff, parks and playground staff.
Well, I don't think that's a sexy bubble.
Okay,
Yeah, so well, you indicated
say
that you wanna
parks and
replace
playgrounds?
3 of these, so what do you wanna replace them with?
Say that again.
You indicated you wanna, the 3 of these are going, you want 3 of them.
Well,
replaced.
we're keeping small businesses, affordable housing and noisy bars.
and we have
Yes.
to add
The-
rats and trash.
Add rats and trash instead of idling buses.
Okay.
And what if you just said parks and playgrounds, like if you didn't put more in?
Yeah,
That's a big
what do you think,
concern.
Larry? Just say parks and playgrounds?
Yeah, because I think people
Well,
get,
that's, yeah, already, but
Just say
Take them
instead
Instead
of
of
more,
more,
take off
okay.
the more.
All right, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not that we're like adding square footage necessarily. We're just trying to improve them. But I think people get that when we say parks and playgrounds, what we really mean is attention should be paid to parks and
Okay.
playgrounds.
So it will be parks and playgrounds, noisy bars, help for small businesses, affordable housing, rats and trash deliveries.
Yeah,
PB3 here's me. Okay. Anything else? Now, about the translations, I think you handled this.
I have a quote. I found someone that did translations for us for something else and I got a quote, so at
Okay.
least we have money put away.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't remember how we did the translations. Larry might have some ideas too.
Mm.
I don't remember, all I remember is that they were done.
Yeah, they were. Sure, Casey was involved because of course she had to flow in the
She had to
copy.
put it in the
And yeah,
design.
so I was out of the picture by then, but she handled it, but I think you secured the translators and she just worked with you and or them. I'm not sure how it all happened, but I can't be helpful here.
Okay.
But I can be helpful.
What were you gonna say, Larry?
I didn't have anything to add. No, I don't have any good ideas here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I went through invoices and I found one from, I think it was, I remember what it's called, but I think it was another brochure that we had done that was
Got
translated
it.
to Spanish and
Mhm.
Chinese. And then the printer, we always use the same printer. It's a Union printer, so it gets the
Yeah.
Union logo, the bug on.
Yeah, I think you said you're gonna be using the same print.
Yeah, it's Ali Graphics. I got a quote from them
Yeah.
already. I sent them this and I got a quote.
Good.
Got it.
All right, I would like to. And my part of the meeting right now, I think you've given me a lot of great direction. And anything else you want to say? I'd like to, rethink, I mean, we're gonna try to leave it as much intact as possible so that
hmm
no additional. Do you like, what about the color?
I love the
I think
You
it's
color.
love the
good.
color? Oh, okay.
I like the color too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, color good. Yeah, and there's no reason not to just keep it a simple two color.
And I feel like, we've been giving out these brochures for 12 years. I feel like it's sort of a brand already, the
Right.
design and
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for me?
I'm good, Larry.
No, I think we're good.
I'm just gonna pitch one more time for putting something about social media in there. I know you're not super using it, but it's just such a thing.
Well, in
these days.
terms
Well, you know what we could do on the back?
It's just
How about follow us on social media and just put
Put it in the content.
The accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
down
Yeah.
the links.
There's always hope, like it's a chicken and egg thing. If people start following you, somebody's gonna get inspired to like keep it up more.
Yeah, the
Mm.
office and it's our resources.
I know.
We actually kind of forget,
tell
and
me
if
about
board members would say, hey, I want this, or hey, I want that to go out, we would do it.
So
Yeah.
what are you on?
It's actually on our website. We have Facebook, we have Instagram.
Should we just use?
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I can copy that from the website and
It's
send it
on
to you.
there.
Yeah.
It's on the
Well, we can
website.
just use
You
the
just grab
logos
it.
so that people will know what they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're on Twitter too, right?
And yeah, we're on
Yeah.
formerly Twitter.
That's- And what about Blue Sky? That's
No,
the
we're not.
latest.
Yeah.
I'm waiting until that all settles out.
No, no.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I tried Twitter when it first came out and everyone was going crazy. I never totally understood it. And then I tried Blue Sky. I thought, oh, Blue Sky, all the cool kids are on Blue Sky now. I went to Blue Sky. And it still doesn't make sense to me because it's.
Yeah.
maybe Larry understands. He said, yeah. like,
No, I'm the same way. I don't use any of those. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get
oh,
I
because-
communicate enough as it is.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just found with like Instagram for me with the businesses, it's a really great way to reach businesses.
That's
Yes,
true.
does absolutely do that, absolutely.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Okay, so Larry, you need to fill out the minutes template with the attendance and all that stuff.
Oh, I've been taking minutes. Yeah, I have everything. Yeah, we've got it all.
fine. How
So-
quickly do you
so-
want,
so-
when should we get back to you?
We would like everything done at the end of June.
Uh-huh.
What do you think, a meeting like in the beginning, very sort of the beginning of May to look at how long do you need for the next step?
Well, and let's see, I don't know, a couple of weeks would be good, probably. I mean, we'd like, what we do is we'll try to create the content and, since we have a workable layout already, we could just flow it in, or I can just, I'm not sure how we'll present it to you, but I might first present you some copy in just a Word document and then get your approval before Casey goes to the trouble of flowing it in.
So Larry, if we do, I mean, the committee, as it is tonight,
Yeah.
made the decisions on what the content to be. So I
Yep.
think for a next step, just to look at the draft and the wording, we can probably, maybe you, I, and, Madeline can do that, by Zoom, and then have the finals go to the next step, which should be much more final, come to the committee.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So new content, just Susan and Larry,
Yeah.
and then, and then once you've approved the copy, then Casey can actually throw it into the layout and you can, and then everybody can look at it.
So,
Once you have committee meetings scheduled?
well, I don't have this scheduled, but I have empty dates for when this can be scheduled. So
Mhm.
when do you think, if we look at the draft, when do you think that we should meet for the committee?
Oh, well, I would say a month, because there'll be a little back and forth. I mean, there
Yeah.
are be things that change quite a bit, and I'll probably have to do a second draft.
Hmm.
So I'd like can I have until the 30th for the content piece of it? It probably will take a couple of weeks to print it. Do you want this printed by the?
Well, I have to pay, so the
She has to pay for it by the end.
I have to get everything paid for and delivered by
the end of June.
by June 30th, because of the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, well, let
And
me check.
the city actually audits me on that.
I believe it.
So you need it printed by the end of June, or you just need to,
That's what the law says.
Yes.
So that's what the law says.
uh-huh,
So our board meeting, I'm figuring out my stuff, is on the 22nd.
okay.
So the next meeting. We could say, how about the more final on May 7th?
Mhm.
How does that sound to you, Larry? Would you be available for a committee meeting May 7th?
Yep, that works for me.
Okay,
Okay.
let's see, May 7th, yeah, I have something I have something that evening. I should invite you all, I mean, I don't think this is actually in your district, but it's district adjacent. I volunteer at the Rini and Hyam Gross Foundation on LaGuardia
At the what?
Place. At the Rini and Hyam Gross Foundation on LaGuardia Place.
The
It's a
CB2.
museum. Yeah, CB2. It's it's the preserved home and studio of the sculptor Chaim Gross, and it contains all his collections of fabulous 20th century art. And there's an event that night, so I
Oh.
can't be here on the 7th. So,
12th,
12,
Larry?
that's a Monday.
That works for me.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, May 12th, okay. Okay. And so that means, so I should probably try to get you this the first draft of the copy by, it's the 9th now, I would
Yeah.
say by the 25th. This is Friday the 25th, that's two plus. 2 weeks and a couple of days,
That's okay.
yeah?
I'm going out of the country on the
April.
28th, but
Oh,
it
you
looks
are?
looks like but I take my computer with
The
me.
12th won't be
Oh,
SLA.
You'll
No,
be-
the SLA's here.
You'll be working, oh, so I can get it to you and Larry on April 25th, and you'll be able to look at it.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Because you will have to get back to me with your comments pretty quickly in order for us to make
Yeah.
any changes.
No. Okay, so the copy due
Make April 25th.
April 25th.
Yeah.
And meeting
Yeah.
is May 12th.
But you have one more deadline. If I send you stuff by April 25th, I'll need your feedback by the 5th, let's say. The 5th.
Oh,
that
we
gives-
do it much faster than that.
Yeah, good, faster than that. Okay, let's.
We
it
can do
then.
that quickly,
Yeah.
can't we?
That day.
To make revisions before we ready.
We'll do it within 2 or 3 days.
3 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's say. Okay, so you should be able to get back to me by the 28th, 29th, or well, you're leaving on the 28th.
But like I say, I
Wednesday,
usually
or
spend like an
something.
hour every evening working when I go
Okay.
away.
All right, we'll say, where are we going?
London.
Nice. That's
Very nice.
Very jealous. My second favorite city.
Oh, well, you'll have to send me your favorite thing to
Oh,
do.
it's been a long time since I was there, but there were a couple of things that are still there that are really wonderful.
Okay, so we're done?
I believe so.
Now,
Yeah. I'll send the minutes doc to you, Susan.
yeah,
Yep.
well, and can you send me the Zoom recording? Did you
Yeah, I will
record- did you
send,
record? Yes, you
yeah, it
recorded.
says AI, read AI.
Yeah.
That's our,
That's the-
I'll send that to Larry also.
Okay,
So Larry, no, the final minutes you send to Ed Chan and copy me.
That's right. Sorry. Yes. May corrected me. Sorry about messing that up last time. Yeah. Got
Well, that caused terrible problems and the world fell apart.
it. Yeah. I got it.
Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay.